All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Bennett Brothers podcast. Today, it's the Titus and Jacob podcast again because my brother is still gay and still not here, but it's perfectly fine, guys. We got a bunch of good questions from our fans.
I sent them to your phone.
We got a bunch of good questions to answer from you guys. We have them all written on the board, guys, but those aren't word for word, so I'm going to read them word for word here, all right? All right, the first... I'm going to read them how they are, all right? Obviously, we wrote them out a little bit better, but the first question is, what's a good way to start your shit? Job, house, just how to start a life, you know? That's a pretty good question. I mean, one would be learning how to speak in a little bit more of an intelligent way, you know? We're just going to call it, how do I start my life? Well, how do you start your life? You be born, and then you're living. No, but in all seriousness, I'm going to give it to you as simple as it actually is because there's a lot of complicated answers you could give for this, but just go fucking start. I mean, how hard is it really? Just go out and get a job. What are you worried about? Go out, get a job. As far as a house goes, I would never buy a fucking house, but if you're talking about renting a house, it's literally as simple as like hopping on Facebook Marketplace, finding someone who rents houses or a house for rent and hitting that person up. And you pay them. You need the job first, but you sign a lease and you pay them. You don't need to complicate it. The way that you get started is to stop overcomplicating it, right? It really is as simple as I just said it is, and you're overcomplicating it. What more is there?
Yeah.
Go the fuck out, get a job. Don't worry about getting a job that you like. Just get a job because you probably don't have any skills yet because you're probably still really young. Probably haven't built any skills that are super valuable. So don't go out there expecting to get paid $100 an hour when you have no experience at all. You probably don't know shit. Go have a good attitude. Get a basic job like you deserve because you're a fucking nerd. Work at that job and then find a fucking house for rent. Sign the lease. Hand over the money. And now you have a house. Don't buy a house.
If you don't start today, you won't start tomorrow. If you don't
Start today!
If you don't start today, then you won't start tomorrow. That's how it works. If you just want to slack it off and do nothing about it, then
What do you
how?
want? He wanted a job in a house?
Huh?
What do you want? A job in a house?
Yeah, a job in a house.
Okay, job?
How do I start? How do I start?
You keep talking. I got
Yeah.
this.
If you don't start today, then you won't start tomorrow. And it's pretty much as simple as that. Like, Alec, I'm mainly talking to you because you've been trying to get a job for a whole month now, and if you've been waiting for a long period amount of time of just trying to get a job, then you're just overcomplicating it, and you're just really you're just lazy. You're not starting at all, and that's honestly kind of how your mind works.
I've given you the exact fucking blueprint. Go into a boss's office
And talk to that motherfucker.
ask him for a job like a fucking man. Get the job. After you get the job and you put in a little bit of work, you go to the bank, okay? The bank is like a big money printer, all right? You take your money, you get your money from the bank. This is money. You go and you rent a house. Now, guess what you've done? You've entered the rat race of shit, okay? Now, here's the issue with this right here. Let me bring my mic over here. The issue with this right here is you are always going to be in this cycle, okay? There's an arrow here. That should have been right there. That is all you're ever going to have. Minus the boss's office. We're going to skip that now. Okay. You're going to go right back to work. Job, bank, money, house. All you're going to do from here is add into this cycle. Store, car dealership. You might buy a car or something like that. You're going to add a few things into this cycle. Maybe a baby, okay? And now you're set up for a shitty life in the rat race, all right? Now, on a more serious note, if you don't want to live that basic life, because, listen, most people's life really is that fucking easy and that simple that all you have to do is go out into a boss's office and get a job. It's easy. If you want a regular life and you're not going to do something huge with your life, follow that cycle because you're overcomplicating it. You're not doing jack shit anyways. Do that, nerd. But if you want to do something bigger with your life, then you have to get into that cycle as quickly as possible. And right after you get into that cycle, you need to realize how shitty it is and how lame your life is and how much it sucks. And then you need to build your window. If you don't know about building your window, go a few podcasts back where we talked about that and build yourself a little window to build yourself a better life where you can do other things like vacation, whatever the fuck you feel like, be rich, do other things rather than just follow that cycle in the rat race. But as of right now, you're probably just seeking a basic life and you need to follow that. And if you're young, you still have time to build your window. So don't be a dumbass and go watch that other podcast and figure out how to build your window and save yourself. It's at least 2 podcasts back. I don't know how far back. What were you saying about your buddy Alec?
Yeah, dude, he's been trying to get a job for like all school year.
Alec, it's not that fucking hard. It's really not.
It's not.
The world is starving for employees. Every boss, every business owner right now is starving for employees, okay? Nobody has a hard time getting a job right now. You're a fucking pussy and you're lazy, Alec. Is it Alec or Alec with an X?
It's Alec, not Alex.
And your name's gay, okay? You can't have that gay name and run around not being able to get a job. Go get a fucking job, you nerd.
Make your name worth something.
We better put this like somewhere that he can see it because he needs to see this.
He watches all these.
Okay, well, cool. Alec, you're a pussy. Go get a fucking job. Why are you being a nerd? Why? It's not hard. Follow the cycle, okay? Easy. Boom.
Add an explosion, Jacob, when you edit this.
I'm not adding an explosion. He doesn't need an explosion to fucking get it. It's so simple. Go get the fucking job. Don't make an excuse about how your grandma's ex-husband from 35 years ago who's dead is now having his funeral, just came up out of nowhere, and now you have to go watch his baby who's also dead so they can go to his funeral.
You got more important things to do.
Do not make an excuse. That is how you get started. Don't make an excuse, because I guarantee the only reason that you don't have a fucking job, Alec, is because you have an excuse for everything. You want to know what the number one thing that I've noticed recently is? That every single day there is an obstacle, and if you don't figure out a way to just work around the obstacle, your life is fucked. You're done. Because every single day is going to be an obstacle. There's not going to be a tomorrow, I won't have any issues. Oh, this happened today. That's why I didn't get anything done. Tomorrow, there won't be this issue. Well, there's a new issue tomorrow, okay? So just do it anyways. And that's how you get all of this success.
Done.
I think this is a very simple process, and it's really gay. And if this is all you want to do with your life, you need to figure out something else. But if this is what you want, enjoy your life. If you would like to know how to get something better than this, we can make that another podcast, and you guys can ask that question next. That's up to you. I'm not going to do it right now at my own will because I don't feel like you deserve it. But that's how you get that process is shut up with your excuses. Alec, how many months have you been looking for a job, bro? Because if it's been more than 2 days, then you're just doing it wrong. You're a nerd and you're a pussy. Now,
Not even. Start today.
Now, how do you leave toxic friends behind? You know what? There's going to be a theme to this podcast, and it's going to be the fact that everything I answer is going to have basically the same answer. How do you leave your toxic friends behind? You leave. Duh. Look, it's this simple. I'm going to write it out for you. Never mind. I'm going to have Titus write it out for you while I explain, because I'm not trying to be... I'm not even trying to be funny here or just act like it's really that simple. It just actually is that simple. And the reason that you guys have these issues, such as not being able to leave toxic friends, not being able to start your life, not being able to get a job, Alec, the easiest thing in the world because everyone wants employees, nerd, is because you guys just overcomplicate it. And it actually is that simple. You want a job? Walk in and ask for one. Go through the employment process and get employed. You want a house? Find a house for rent and rent it. Okay? You want to leave your toxic friends. Grow a pair of balls and block your toxic friends. or tell them to go fuck themselves. Because you don't owe them your time. You don't owe them a thing. You don't owe them anything at all. Just block them. There's no reason to be friends with them anymore. Right? You're sitting here acting as if it's hard to do it when all it is an action. It's a simple action. Go get the job. Show up every day. Rent the house. Really think through in your mind how big of a process it is for you to do this and realize that it's so simple, and the only thing you're lacking is the will to start. Because if you would have started, it would have already been done. I mean, how many people are in the world?
Like 8 billion people?
Like 8 billion? Okay. Let's just say even half of them. 4 billion people. 4 billion people on Earth have jobs and a house, and you don't think you can get one? 4 billion of those people, most of them still have toxic friends. You could just do that one thing different, and maybe you'll have a better job and a better house because you don't have shitty friends around you. All you have to do is do the exact same thing that they did, but it's going to be a little bit harder because there's going to be emotions added into it now where you're going to be scared to get rid of your old friends. You want to know the easiest way to do it, though? Move away if you have to. If you have to move out of your hometown, just move. Get away from all the dumb hoes that you know. Get away from all the bad friends that you know and just never look back. That Snapchat that you have that's full of all of their contacts, delete it. Delete the account. Your Instagram that they all follow, delete it. Your whole contact list that's full of shit, delete it. I don't care if it's your uncle. I don't care if it's your grandpa. If they're toxic, delete it. Now look, toxic friends, you, bye, bitch. That's what that says. They're sitting here, they're smoking a joint. You see that?
And drinking
and jerking off. Make one of them be jerking. They're having butt sex right now. Gay butt sex. We're just going to put it that way, all right? Now look, you walked away. They don't care because they're still sitting there high and drunk. You want to know what they think? They don't think about you very long. I don't care if this was my best friend. We live together in Idaho. This hypothetical state that doesn't exist, okay? Idaho. We just made this state up, all right? We're best buddies. Hey, nice to meet you. Want to go drink? Yeah. Want to go smoke? That's my favorite thing to do. Mine too. Why no way? Yeah. No. Oh, that's gay.
Oh.
Hey.
I'm not your friend anymore.
Yeah.
You can go and I'm going to go
We're not friends anymore.
I'm going to go be gay.
Now he's not my friend? Oh, Titus is a bitch. I'm gonna go tell all my friends what a pussy Titus is. Oh, Titus isn't here anymore, so he can't even hear me. So it doesn't matter because Titus isn't being affected by it, and he doesn't care because he completely disconnected from it. You guys understand what I'm saying? If you just completely disconnect and truly don't care, it's not that hard. And there has to be a level of I don't care with the job interviews as well. They're not up there anymore, but because you can't be scared to get turned down from the job interview. But at the end of the day, who cares if you do anyways, because you're going to die in 70, 80, 90 years if you even get to live that long, if you're lucky, and nobody's going to remember. That guy who interviewed you will forget tomorrow because he'll interview 35 other people. That person you cold called because you're trying to sell a service at your new business or a product, they'll forget about you tomorrow. They're not going to sit there and have dreams about you and tell their wife about you and tell their kids to bring you to their show and tell on a freaking whiteboard and just tell everyone about this story of the time that you made a mistake. Nobody remembers it. Nobody cares, so just do it. It doesn't affect you as much as you think it does.
Jacob's right. If you want...
No way.
What?
There's no way I'm right.
Shut up.
It's almost like I'm right about everything.
What? No, but seriously, Jacob's right. The best thing to get rid of toxic people is to just cut them off. There's no point of putting that toxicity in your brain or in your life because then you're always just going to be coped around it. And the best thing to just get rid of all that drama, all that toxicity, is to just turn around and say bye. And just get rid of it.
Drama.
That's how you clear your mind. That's how you figure out how to get a job.
Owen kid? Now, our next question is, how do you control your mindset to work without telling yourself, I don't want to do something? Okay. So we broke it down to how do you control a good mindset? I would say, how do you maintain a good mindset? And for one, don't chase cheap motivation, because if you're constantly looking for the next thing that's going to motivate you, you're never going to stay motivated. What you need to do is put pretty much systems in place to keep you always doing actions that will bring you forwards in life. So you need to have a plan on how you're going to get rich, or how you're going to get fit, or how you're going to do whatever it is that you want to do in life. And you need to stick to it and be disciplined towards it. No motivation can replace something like that. No person pushing you to do something through a video or whatever can replace that. You need to be able to constantly stay in line with your goals and stay intact with exactly, with an exact plan to hit them. And other than that, like if you're a man asking this, quite literally the only way to do it is to take yourself through some sort of hell. Like how I did it is I just forced myself to commit, right? For this podcast, we just spent thousands of dollars on equipment, and I'm not going to waste thousands of dollars and not do the podcast, right? Now I have to do it. With both of our businesses, we just started them like that, so there was no turning back, right? Our only other option was to be homeless. So we can't just say, I don't want to do this and quit. But most people don't have the luxury of just being able to start things like I do, because they kind of just overthink it. But another way to do it, say at your job, you're lazy, or there's lots of other things you might want to do that you're just not doing. Here's the secret sauce. Quit being a pussy. I'm going to assume that you're a man. I'm not speaking to women. I'm just going to assume that you're a man asking this. Man the fuck up, okay? Quit being a little bitch. Don't worry about what you want to do. He said, without telling myself I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Why are you worrying about what you want to do? If it needs to be done, do it. There's no question on how do I get myself to blah, blah, blah about what I want to do. The big mistake you made there is you mentioned what you want. You're a fucking man. Who cares what you want? I want an empire. I don't want to do all the work that's involved in building it, right? I want to be famous. I don't want to sit at this table in this 100-degree room doing podcasts all the time. But there's work you have to put in to be able to hit your goals, and you absolutely shouldn't be worried about what it is that you want. You should be worried about what is the future going to look like, not about what you want right now. If you're always worried about what you want, then you're never going to be anybody. You're always just going to be a pussy, and that's all you get what you put in. If you're not willing to put in the work, you're not going to get the same results that someone who did put in the work would get. So
It's not even that hard. You just got to put in the work.
don't think about the fact that it's hard. Like, that shouldn't be a question. Is this hard? Who cares? It has to be done. Tell yourself, I will do what's required, not what I want. Don't worry about what you want. I'm going to do exactly what's required because this is what I want and this is what I have to do in order to get there. And if you can get past the doing what you want versus doing what must be done, you'll have a pretty successful life and you'll turn out to be a pretty happy person. Because also, when you're a very hardworking man, it is one of the best feelings ever because you get shit done and you don't have those sad feelings of I'm worthless. Feeling worthless is one of the worst feelings in the world as a man. No man likes to feel worthless. No man likes to be called worthless, even if they're kind of okay with it. Maybe your dad calls you worthless while you're playing video games. You feel that. I don't care how much you look past it. You feel it no matter who you are, and you wish that you were somebody better.
If you don't if you're in a bad environment, then how are you supposed to put yourself in a good mindset if you're just in that bad habit? You kind of have to break yourself out of those bad habits for you to grow your good mindset so you can work on what you want and your future and what you want to work with.
Hold up. Now, I would say it's a little bit reverse. You got to fix the mindset to fix the habits. If you're a pussy, you'll never fix your habits. But here's the deal. Getting rid of the toxic friends is another great way to stay, in a good mindset. Because if you have a bunch of pussy friends, if you're around men who are little babies, then you're obviously going to be a man who's a little baby, not because you're going to act like them or mimic them or you're a follower. No, but because you're not going to have good men who hold you to a high standard. My brothers and myself, we hold each other to a high standard. If one of my brothers is around me, I will yell at them if they're not working. I will yell at them if they're being dirty little retards. Like if they're not doing good things with their life. You need to be around people who aren't toxic to figure out how to build that mindset. Like, if you have someone who smacks you in your head and says, hey, we agreed that we weren't going to do that anymore, then it's not that hard. Like when my brother and I tell each other, hey, we're going to start going to the gym together. We're going to the gym together. But if you can't get that out of your friends, then just don't have any friends, because your other friends, the flip side is going to be that they try and drag you out to go drink or drag you out to go smoke or tell you to get off work or tell you that money doesn't buy happiness or something stupid like that to try and drag you down. So if you can't have the good side, just have none of it. Have nothing at all. Don't have toxic friends. That will help with your mindset as well. But the best way to have a good mindset is anytime you hear any sort of a voice that's telling you to do anything that doesn't sound like it will lead to your goals, that bitch voice creeping in saying, oh, I can take a break, or, oh, I deserve the day off, or, oh, I deserve to be off on holidays. By the way, Memorial Day right now, nobody's here in this office. What are we here doing? We've been here working all day. It's like 7 o'clock right now, and we're recording a podcast. We don't deserve a day off. Even though we work hard every single day, we don't deserve a day off. That is the best thing you can say to yourself is, I don't deserve a break because I'm not rich yet, or I'm not successful yet, or I don't have what I want in life yet. It doesn't have to be being rich, but you don't deserve a day off. You see, I tell myself these things because I want my mindset to stay sharp. You can too. That's how you keep your mindset in shape. How do you get money quick?
Scam pedos.
How do you get money quick? How do you get rich quick? How do you get money quick?
Well, this brings us back to how to start my life.
No, it doesn't. I have a completely different answer for this one. And the simple answer for this is get a job. Because if you go get a job, then you can get money, which is just enough to pay your bills, which just makes you a slave. But to get real money, something more like $10K a month to $1 million a month, there's no quick route. The answer to that question is that there is no quick way to do it. The answer to that question is that the quickest way to do it is to not worry about how quick it's going to be and just start. And then, 5 years later when you're rich, you're going to be like, that went by so fast. You ever get that feeling of like, man, yesterday I was like 7. You ever get that feeling?
Yeah, exactly.
How do you think it's going to feel when you're trying to get rich? One day you're going to wake up and you're going to be rich and you're going to look back and be like, holy shit, that was 7 years of work that I put in. We've been at it for like 3 years now, 4 years now, and I feel like I started yesterday. Not because of results, but because that's how life is. It just swings by like that. So the answer to that question is just start and constantly work at it, and don't think about, oh my God, it's going to take me like 5 years to get a lot of money. No, instead think, man, time flies. I better get started now, and I'll be there in what feels like tomorrow. And continuously grind at it, because there is no quick, I would say reasonably you could start making $10,000 to $15,000 a month within your first year of doing something other than just working a regular job. That's pretty quick to me as a year. So
what CC four-wheeler is the best for riding through rough terrain?
Fucking nerds, shut up. Ask a different question.
That's what somebody asked us.
Anyways, ultimately, there's one quick way. We're saying a year is quick here because 365 days of work to start making $10,000 to $15,000 a month on repeat is not very much. So look, here's your blueprint. Learn something valuable. Learn something more. and this one's serious. All these other questions, I was a dickhead. This one's serious, okay? Instead of just trying to figure out how to get it super quick, you usually with a job, you have a skill, right? But typically your skill is like flipping burgers or maybe changing a tire or something like that. So your skills aren't valuable enough. You need to learn a more valuable skill. Your skill might be running a business, then you can start your own business. Or you might learn how to market businesses, then you can go help other people to market their business. Ultimately, you're going to be in your own business at the end of the day, but you could also be a freelancer, Your skill might be mowing lawns, which is actually a really high ticket skill. You can make 10, 15K a month, no problem mowing lawns. Your skill might be washing windows. Your skill might be editing videos. Your skill might be whatever it is. It just needs to be higher. The higher the value of your skill, first of all, the harder it's going to be to learn, but also the more you can sell it for. And then once you just learn how to do it a little bit, go figure out the rest as you get paid. So take about a month to 2 months to learn a new skill, and then go figure out the rest as you get paid. When we started Bennett Media for marketing businesses, we weren't that great at it, but we went and got our first clients within the first month, and then we charged them a lower fee so we had time to still learn. We told them, like, hey, we're not great at this yet, but we're good at it. And then we learned as we went. And then as we got better, we 10x'd our price. We just learn a high-ticket skill. I mean, mowing lawns isn't even a high-ticket skill, but you can make a lot of fucking money mowing lawns. Realistically, the high-ticket skill that comes with mowing lawns is hard work, determination, and sales, convincing people to work with you. Learning sales will pay off a lot. So really, I would just say learn sales, but go learn some sort of a high-ticket skill and figure out what it is you're going to sell and do it on repeat. And don't quit. If you're going to mow lawns for the next 2 or 3 years. If you're going to sell donuts to strangers, knocking on their doors and selling them, sell donuts for the next 2 or 3 years and do not stop, and do it on repeat until you're the greatest there ever was at it. And boom, after 3 or 4 years, you'll be like, holy shit, it feels like I started yesterday. Whoa. Shit, I have 12 employees at my lawn mowing business now. Damn, I started with just me like 3 years ago. It's not going to feel like that long. So quit thinking about right now and think a little bit more long term. And that's how you get rich. Watch this. There's only one thing that you have to do to get rich. Take out the word quick and focus on getting the money. Boom. All right, guys, now that I've spewed through all of this, we're just going to give a quick recap. Number 1 was, how do I start my life? Well, quite literally, the most important part is being born.
Simple as that. No, but seriously, if you want to figure out how to get your life started, literally as simple as walking into a Walmart and going shopping. Pretty much you do the same thing, but you're looking for a job application. You walk into that store and you go talk to the boss and you go figure your shit out and you go get that job. Get your money as you're working there. Put it in your bank, get your money, buy a house, and then pretty much it's just a relapse from there. And then you just keep on going with the flow that you got going on, how to start your life and continue it.
Now, what I will say is, to the kid who asked that, I'm assuming that you're probably at least 17 or 18. What you don't want to do is be asking the same exact question in I don't know how to count. In 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, you don't want to be asking that same exact question. So make sure that now that you got your answer, you put this into action, because the last thing you want to do is float down the stream of life and be fucked in a few years and realize, wow, I messed up. Next recap is, how do you leave toxic friends behind? Titus, give him the answer.
It's like breaking up with a girlfriend, except with your friends. You just dip out and leave and go figure something out better with your life.
It's as simple as leaving.
It's as simple as walking out of this room right now.
Like, okay.
That's like saying, how do you leave this podcast?
Okay. Look, this is just like walking into Walmart too, except it's like leaving Walmart, okay? When you're done, the cash register person rings up all your stuff, you pay and all that, right? You don't ask, how do I leave? You just say, thanks, have a good day, and you're gone. You're not like, oh no, they're going to be mad if I leave them. They're going to forget about you, and you're going to leave Walmart and go back home and jerk off and hang out with your shitty friends, just like you always do. Your friends will be just fine without you. Actually, hopefully you'll be better off than them because it sounds like you have some shitty friends. Next is, how do you maintain a good mindset? I've already given my whole take on this thing, so Titus, you hit him with it.
Honestly, I think it's your environment, to be honest, that control a good mindset. And
really?
Yeah, I think it's your environment. Well,
I disagree with
if
that.
you don't have a good mindset if you're at a bonfire with a bunch of shitty people, how do you think your mindset's going to be when you're in that place?
Okay,
you're
this is true.
You're going to be thinking about where you're going to be thinking about your toxic friends and what they're doing for that specific mindset, because you're going to have that mindset in that environment that you're staying in, because you're not really going to think about anything else but what you got going on. So I think the best thing...
You've altered my mind.
Yeah.
But
I think the best thing is to keep a good mindset is to pretty much just get out of environment. Jump out that window.
I would say if you don't already have a good mindset, I went through this long period, about 2 years of being completely alone and not wanting to talk to anybody. But during that period,
that sounds so dark.
No, it's not dark. I'd still talk to like my close family and stuff, but I didn't want noise. I wanted to hone my own mind in. I wanted to go to the gym. I wanted to go to work early. I wanted to go to bed early so I could go back to work early. I wanted everything to be quiet around me. If you have constant noise around you, you can never get clear on what it is that you want and the mindset you need to get it. So you need to just be in quiet space all the time. That doesn't mean you can't talk to people. That doesn't mean you can't be a good person still and contribute to the world. That just means that you shouldn't be out partying, because you don't need constant noise and constant things that are trying to alter your mind, because you don't have a strong enough mind yet. So yes, Titus, you're right about the whole environment thing. The reason I was disagreeing with you is because I think that as a man, you should be strong enough to not be a product of your environment, and you should be able to alter your own mind where you want it to go. But yes, if you're still trying to learn how to train your own mind to not be a bad mind, then you should be away from all those people, and you should either be in a better environment or in no environment at all. I would pick no environment, because complete silence is a complete silence, not as in like there's no noise at all. I mean like silence away from partying and people trying to get you off of work and people trying to drink and smoke and hang out all the time, your phone always going off, things like that. It's a silent, nice path for you to just be like, okay, here's what I want and here's the mindset I need to get to it. And then you instill that into you. Before I ever became an entrepreneur, I spent years where my brother and I would just go on a couple mile long runs, and we'd go to the gym, and we would just read like 8 books all the time. We would do hard things just to train our minds into being, one, okay with being bored, because if you can't be bored, you'll never get anything done. It's not fun working. You'll get bored of actually doing something you're really good at. 2, hard work. You need to be able to do hard things. There's so many things that you need to train your mind to be able to do, but we would go on runs, we'd read books, we'd do all these things we didn't want to do to build ourselves up to be able to be entrepreneurs, because that same spirit goes into being an entrepreneur. So work on your mind before you try and work on something else. There's a guy named Jim Rohn, I believe is his name. If you don't watch him, go check him out. He's a super old man. All of his videos are still black and white, but awesome guy. He says, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And it's one of the greatest quotes that I ever heard, because most people work really hard on trying to, get money, but they never figure out a good mindset and a good way of treating themselves to be able to bring their number one weapon, which is going to be themselves. All you have to make money with is you. So if you don't train you in your own mind to be able to take out the money making process, then you really don't have anything other than what your boss tells you to do. And that's not a very fun life to live. So work harder on yourself than you do on your job. As soon as you get off work, that's when your day starts. That's when you start working on yourself. At 11 p.m., 12 p.m., I used to stick my freaking knife in my pants because I was scared to go outside. I was still like 15. I'd put my knife in my pocket and I'd hold on to it and I would run in the freezing cold, -20 in North Dakota, and I'd go run miles. I hated it. But that was just like, I always knew from an early age I needed to train my mind, right? That's late at night after I already had worked, because now it's time to work on myself, which is a great investment, because in the future, those runs, when I'm sitting here doing computer work, I'm like, hey, at least it's not 3 a.m. and I'm running down a dark alley in -15 worried about getting stabbed. At least I'm not doing that right now. And then it's perfectly fine. So put yourself through hard shit. All right, so we got another question here. It is, how do you deal with hardship or obstacles being thrown your way? That's not exactly how the question was asked, but it was basically that exact question. I'm going to give this one to you, Titus, because I've kind of taken them all.
How to what?
How to deal with like obstacles or hardships being thrown your way, you know, random things.
How to
like
deal?
getting fired from your job or whatever.
I think if you really want to avoid obstacles, not avoid. If every day's an obstacle, everything, it's just like pretty much obstacles is like a problem. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So pretty much every day is an obstacle. Like you'll be on your way to work and there's traffic. There's an obstacle right there. You can't avoid it. You're pretty much a part of the obstacle. Like now you're late for work.
Right.
You get fired from your job. Like
your girlfriend breaks up with you.
Yeah, your girlfriend breaks up with you. You can't really, like,
can't jerk off because porn won't load.
You got shit Wi-Fi.
Those are all problems that you guys have.
How to deal with them.
That last one is anyway.
Yeah. Honestly, you just gotta deal with it, because if you're not manly enough to deal with certain obstacles that just happen in life, then you're not
simple obstacles too.
Yeah. Just simple shit, like I spilt my coffee, and then you get all pissed. You're like, crap, spilt my coffee everywhere, and then you're all pissed for the rest of the day because you spilt your coffee. If you can't handle something like that, something that simple and stupid, then I don't know how you're going to handle spilling 10 cups of coffee. Hard shit in life.
So are you saying you kind of got to train yourself to be able to handle the small things, so that way when the big things come, you kind of know how to handle them?
Yeah, exactly. Because if you can't handle the small things, then how are you going to handle the big things? Because like every single day, everything's an obstacle. Every day has a problem in it. Even if you're not prepared, even if you're not expecting it or prepared for it, it's going to happen either way. Doesn't matter if you avoid it or not. It still happens. It happens every single day. Like, I had an obstacle this morning. Yeah, I couldn't find my shoes. So then I came over here barefoot. like this morning.
No, he didn't. He stole my shoes. But
yeah. But no, like I ran into an obstacle this morning. I couldn't find my shoes, and I was late here to the office in the morning. And that was an obstacle. I obviously wasn't prepared for it, and I couldn't find my shoes. So now I'm wearing.
You want to know a solution to that, guys? Look. What Titus said right there, he had to show up late because he couldn't find his shoes, and he's a loser.
Yeah.
He stole my shoes. That's one solution, right? He was able to get here. But what's the next solution, Titus? The next solution...
I figured out my solution.
Hold on. The next solution is to work a little bit later and catch up on that work that you missed out on, because you still have stuff to do at the end of the day, and there's no way to get through an obstacle without messing your life up unless you take the hard route. The easy route is you go back home and you just go to living your normal life. The harder route is you finish the rest of your work, you stay a little bit later, and then you go home. Or you could complain and say, it's not my fault. I couldn't find my shoes. The cat stole them.
The cat stole them?
Absolutely doesn't benefit you. The only way that you can make an obstacle not matter is to just go right through it. Otherwise, you can lay down on this side of the obstacle when you need to get over here. Just lay down and sleep. Or you can go up over it. You can go around it.
Yeah.
You can go fucking through it like a gangsta. However you want to do it. But My favorite thing to do is with obstacles is just ignore them, because 90% of your obstacles are very minuscule. Obstacles don't really matter. What are your obstacles? You left your shoes? Okay, not that big of a deal. I mean, what big bad thing can really come in your life that's such a big deal that you need to tornado your life over it, right? If you get hit with a wave from the ocean, you don't act like it was a tsunami and smash your head into the rock behind you. You just stand there and let the wave hit you and go about your business. You don't need to jump back and overreact and smash your head on the rock behind you and die or get a freaking concussion. There's no reason for that. Just instead, stand through it, continue on, and go about your business like a man. Most of you guys pick to act like it's a tsunami and smash your head on the rock, and you mess up your life, right? Titus could have called me this morning and been like, I can't find my shoes. I'm not coming in. Instead, he picked the dickhead route and stole my shoes, which I'm not very happy about, but at least he came into work instead of tsunamiing his life over the fact that he couldn't find his shoes. So quit overcomplicating your problems. It's just like overcomplicating anything else, success, whatever it is. It's basically like just starting, but instead you're just going to keep going. You're not going to sit there and be like, oh, this is such a big problem. Just forget about it. Completely forget about it. The other day I broke my phone. I couldn't have my phone for a whole day. I couldn't reach out to any clients or anything. Instead of worrying about it, I went and dropped my phone off to get fixed. I had to wait like a day, which when you own a business is a long time to go without your phone, without any contact to your clients, any way to do work, because it's an online business. That's very difficult. Instead, I just dropped my phone off and I went about my day and I did other shit that I had to do around the office and I got stuff done still. Instead of tsunamiing my life and being like, okay, guess I'm going to take the day off.
Because I don't got my phone. You know what? I don't got my phone, so I really don't need to do anything.
Right. So quit acting like obstacles are really a big deal. There's no obstacle that's really that big. Unless your parents died or, you were in a relationship and your significant other died or something really, really bad happened to you that's like really bad. At least you're not in a third world country where your people are getting blown up or you don't have any food or you don't have resources and things of that sort. Realize that you're pretty lucky. You're lucky to have those obstacles. You're lucky to have traffic, because the other option is you could be walking to work, walking past all the traffic, and get to work an hour later because you had to walk. You could not be able to get a girlfriend because you're too busy watching your family get blown to pieces. You could not have a family because your dad had to go to war and your mom went down to the watering hole to get water and never came back because some guy took her and trafficked her. You could have much bigger problems, right? Your girlfriend could have been kidnapped. No, instead she just broke up with you and she went about her life. Be happy that she is still alive and doing well. Be happy that you're still alive. Be happy that you have what you have, because it could all be way worse. There could be way worse things. Your little obstacles are not that big of a deal. And that is why I choose to just go right through every obstacle in my life, because it could be 100 times worse. Instead of the other day when my phone broke, I could have been born in another country and never had the resources to be able to afford a phone. I could have had many, many, many more issues. Instead of being bullied because I dropped out of school, I could have been born with parents who were brainwashed and made me stay in school. There's many worse things that could have happened to me. Instead of having the obstacle of not knowing how to go out and get a job or how to go rent a house, I could have the obstacle of being in another country where it's really hard to get a job and it's almost impossible, where scammers are at because it's so hard to get a job that they're just scamming people because it's an easier way to make money. Or where it's really hard to get a house because they're all blown up from another country bombing us. Your problems are not that bad. Just figure them out. It's so easy. You don't have any issues. You're in an area where you have access to almost everything. You have access to the internet. You have access to a job. You have access to Facebook Marketplace. You can go find your house you want to live in. You have access to Tinder. You can go swipe on there and do whatever the fuck people do on Tinder. I don't know, because I don't have Tinder. I'm not a nerd. But you can do so many things that some people can't do. So just do them. It's that simple. Fuck your obstacles. They're not that big of obstacles. You should be grateful that you're able to have obstacles because, I have obstacles in business every day, but I'm grateful that I have a business. I'm grateful I live in a country where I'm able to start a business so easily. I'm grateful that, I have boots. If I lose my boots, big whoop, at least I had boots. I'll go buy another pair. If I get stuck in traffic, at least I got a car. They're really not that big of deals, so just move on.
Accept them.
Your girlfriend left you? At least you had a girlfriend. Some guy in freaking what is it? Some dude in Palestine right now, his girlfriend probably just got blown to pieces in front of him. Could have been a whole lot worse for you. So just be happy that your girlfriend who just left you isn't dead and she got to go on with her life and you got to go on with your life and you guys split ways and you're living different lives now. That's not as bad as watching her get blown to pieces, I'm sure.
Yeah. Or your best friend, not even girlfriend. Like you're sitting here right next to me. It could be worse. We could be somewhere else and he could blow to smithereens.
Right.
I never got to say goodbye.
Titus could go back home to Idaho tomorrow and never come back. That would kind of suck, but I would never look at that like a terrible thing because worse, he could have been driving home and died.
Yeah.
At least he's still alive. He might be in another state now, but it's not that big of a deal. Like,
it happens. That's an obstacle.
Be grateful that you have these obstacles. Your mom's mad at you. Is that an obstacle that some of you deal with? Maybe. You have a mom, though.
I don't.
Some people, he does have a mom. Some people don't have moms, though. Like, seriously, some people's moms died when they were little kids. So at least you have a freaking mom.
Yeah. Like people who don't have a mom.
It's so weird saying frickin'. Guys, we made a vow to stop cussing so much on the podcast.
Fuck, shit,
I just have
pussy,
to say real
bitch.
quick. Quit it. I have to say real quick. Fuck. Sorry, guys. I just had to get that out of me because I keep saying frickin' and I'm not even trying to say it. It just keeps coming out now that we made a vow. We committed to not cussing as much on the podcast.
I'll be on a roll or I'll be talking and then I'll say, or fucking, and then I'm like, or no, I like stop myself halfway. I'm like, these freaking kids, man. I swear to God.
I'm not trying to do it.
Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to either, but
it might be an obstacle to not get fucked to come out of your mouth, but at least you weren't born deaf. At least you can speak. Hey,
at least you're not deaf or not deaf. At least you're not blind. You couldn't be watching this podcast, but at least you can hear.
People have dumb obstacles though. A lot of people, they'll live in one place. Here in Texas, it's like 108 degrees all the time. In North Dakota, it was like -40 all the time. I didn't like the cold. Now I'm in a super, super hot place. They both suck. But you can't bitch about either one because you wouldn't trade one for the other because they both suck so bad. But it's just like, how can I bitch about the heat when I bitched about the cold? How can I bitch about the cold when I bitched about the heat? If you're doing that, then you're just a wine bag. You need to just live it. Hey, at least I'm not somewhere where it's way too cold. At least my fingertips aren't falling off while I'm working on trucks. We used to do that all the time, working on cold metal in the freezing cold.
Oh, dude, that sucked. We did that in Alaska, too.
I'd much rather be working in some heat than everything I touch hurting my fingertips, but I can't stop because I have a business that I'm starting that's a truck and trailer repair business, and if I stop doing it, my business goes under. I'd much rather be in the heat.
I mean, it's just something that we got to accept around here.
Seriously, our first job.
It's freaking hot. I mean, yeah, we'll be like, dang, it's hot. But it's not like, yeah, I didn't come into work today because it's way too hot out and it sucks. So, like, I just didn't want to come into work today because it's too hot.
Yeah, like this podcast studio, on the weekends, they shut the AC off. I don't know why. Yeah, it's a huge building, so I'm sure it costs a lot to run
It's pretty warm in this room.
But it gets like 100 degrees in here on the weekends. You know what I think? Hey,
we're not saying
at least we have a podcast. At least we have a podcast studio. At least someone didn't come in here last night and steal all of our equipment. Yeah. At least we've got the podcast studio, so we have no excuses to not do the podcast because we have a studio.
And we happen to be filming this on the weekend, past
It's not
2
a
o'clock.
weekend. It's not the weekend right now, but it's Memorial Day, so
yeah,
it's
Memorial
technically
Day.
the weekend because everyone takes the weekend off.
The AC gets shut off at 2 o'clock. I mean, yeah, that sucks. That's an obstacle. But you know what? We wanted to do a podcast today. Not wanted. We needed to. We needed to answer these stupid questions that you guys consider actual questions.
Hey guys, if you're watching this right now and you didn't ask a question in the Q&A, please go ask a question because we want to answer your stupid questions. All right, guys. Well, we've kind of beat this horse to death, so we're gonna wrap it up now. But hopefully you guys got some value from this. Hopefully whoever asked these questions kind of just gets started on whatever it is they want to clean up in their life. If you have bad friends, get rid of them. If you need a house, just go get it. If you want a job, go ask for it. Whatever it is that you want in life, go and get it, guys. Thanks for watching the Bennett Brothers podcast, a.k.a. the Titus and Jacob podcast, because Matthew's not here. Matthew's gay. And, yeah, I told Matt I'm going to put that in every podcast until he gets on. So hopefully that motivates him to get on because he wants to stop being called gay.